Well, reason for the call today, John, is something just came across my desk, John. It is perhaps the best thing I've seen in the last 6 months. If you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share the idea with you. You got a minute? Name of the company, Aerotine International. Your profit on a mere $6,000 investment would be upwards of $60,000. 4,000, that'd be 40,000 shares, John. Great. Hey, John, welcome to the Investors Center.
Investor Center? My ass. Out of that sale call, I pulled $2 fucking grand. But how did I do this shit? How do you sell penny stocks to sane people and make them think it's their ticket to millions? So let's break this shit down. Here's the thing. Everyone's chasing a different fucking dream. The rich? They don't need you teaching them how to make money. They've already got piles of it. What they want is luxury, status, something so rare it screams, "I'm richer than you!" So I don't talk product. I feed the fantasy. There's only 5 of these in the whole world, sir. Done. The middle class? They're not after yachts. They just don't want to be broke. They want stability. So I sell them 5 years of growth, a future where money isn't a problem. And then you've got the real bottom feeders, the schmucks, the guys who want everything for nothing, the easiest marks alive. All they need to hear is this line.
Stocks that had huge upside potential with very little downside risk. Does that ring a bell?
Boom! Their brain short circuits, and I've got them by the balls. Dwayne warned me about the kind of clowns I'd be selling to.
Mostly schmucks. They see our ads in the back of Hustler and Popular Mechanics, and our ads actually say they can get rich quick.
And once I understood their dreams, that's when the game really began. Nobody buys penny stocks because they like the stock. They buy the dream. They buy the shot at fucking freedom. Think about it. 6 cents a share. What do you expect? You expect a miracle. So I didn't pitch Aerotine as some trash company. I pitched John a goddamn life.
A profit on a mere $6,000 investment would be upwards of $60,000.
I put him in the promised land. And guess what? He bought it. Not the stock, the illusion. And I walked away 2 grand richer for selling nothing but smoke. But here's the kicker. It ain't as easy as just cold calling and talking shit. You gotta know how to take control right from the first 5 seconds. Get this burned into your little skull. Human beings judge fast. People judge a book by its cover. They judge a person by his appearance. And they judge a salesman by his voice. Which means on a call, the first 5 seconds decide everything. If you blow it there, you're finished. You come in weak, flat, robotic.
Hi, my name is Jordan Belfort. I'm calling from Stratton Oak.
Boom! You're already a dead salesman. They've hung up on you in their head already. The game is simple. First 5 seconds, you come in sharp as a knife, enthusiastic as a lunatic, and you sound like the goddamn expert. That's the key. Think about it. You take your kid to a doctor because you trust he's the expert who can fix him. You sit in the main barber's chair, not the apprentice, because you know he's the one who won't butcher your hair. Same thing here. If you don't sound like the guy who knows everything, you don't get control. And control is everything. You take control, you own the call, and you own their wallet. And how do you do it? Tonality, baby. That's the secret weapon. Now listen, words matter, sure, but how you fucking say them matters 10 times more. Every human being uses tones without thinking. Anger, happiness, sadness, all that shit. But in the straight line system, there are 10 tonalities you need to master. And they're the difference between sounding like a schmuck and sounding like an expert on the phone. Mystery tonality, urgency, absolute certainty, the reasonable. Wait, what the fuck am I doing? Am I in high school here? You nut jobs didn't even pay me. Go to Google, get that shit yourself. I don't hand out the crown jewels for free unless you're in one of my conferences. By the way, tonality is just body language in your voice. That little edge of control, that whisper of mystery, that punch of certainty. It's what makes the client see you as the expert. And once they see you as the expert, you own the call.
You mailed in my company a postcard a few weeks back requesting information on penny stocks that had huge upside potential with very little downside risk. Does that ring a bell? Okay, great. Well, reason for the call today, John, is something just came across my desk, John. It is perhaps the best thing I've seen in the last 6 months. If you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share the idea with you. Right now, John, the stock trades over the counter at 10 cents a share. And by the way, John, our analysts indicate it could go a heck of a lot higher than that. Your profit on a mere $6,000 investment would be upwards of $60,000. Now, the key to making money in a situation like this is to position yourself now before the settlement. Because by the time you read about it in the Wall Street Journal, it's already too late.
So now you've pitched the dream with the right tones. You've locked yourself in as the expert you are. There's only one thing left to do.
And you wait. You wait. And whoever speaks first loses.
Now here's the thing. In a sales call, your job is to control the outcome. But control doesn't mean running your mouth like a jackass. Control comes from listening. Really listening. Because when you listen, you measure the guy on the other line. You figure out if he's sellable, and if he is, how deep can you reach into his pockets? And when I say listen, I don't mean sitting there silent like a corpse. I mean active listening, agile, sharp. Yes, I heard you. Please repeat that. I completely understand where you're coming from. That shit makes the client feel like he matters, like he's the smartest guy on the call. And while he's feeling heard, you're profiling him. Is he scared? Is he greedy? Does he have money to burn, or is he clinging to his last dime? Once you know that, you unload the stock. You know exactly how much he can buy, so you pitch it. And then you think, great, he buys now, right? Not so fast. Human beings are predictable. And here's the ugly truth. People are more afraid to lose money than they are excited to win it. Read that again. People are terrified of losing the money they already have, more than they're hungry for the money they expect to gain. So what happens? Objections, excuses, the same tired bullshit.
That's my mortgage, man.
I need to talk to my wife.
I gotta check with my mom.
Guess what? They don't want to talk to their wife. They don't trust you, period. And that's why you move to the next step. This is where your human wisdom kicks in. Fuck the script. That's for amateurs. By now, you already understand who you're talking to. You've profiled him. You've sniffed out his doubts. Now your job is simple. Smash those doubts to pieces. If you're a big-time closer, you flex social proof. You show him the wins you've racked up. You're not the first, pal. I've done this 100 times and people made money. That builds confidence. If you're small time, you flip the hypothetical. What do you really have to lose? Worst case, the policy protects 99% of your money. Best case, you hit the jackpot. You minimize the pain, you maximize the reward. That balance tips the scale. And if he's still fighting you, that's when you use the salvation play. You tell him, look, I'm fighting to make my name here. If I screw you, I screw myself. That doesn't get me anywhere. Relatable, human, honest sounding. And here's the thing. Once he feels safe, the trust is there. And when the trust is there, the sale is done. That's rapport. That's the closer's edge. But you don't stop there. Because if you want a customer and not just a one-time hit, there's one more step. Now here's where you lock the guy in forever. You call him back, but not like some random salesman. You call him by his name. You ask how he's doing. You tell him how the stock's moving, how his play is shaping up. And you lace it all with the I care tone. Because when he hears that, he believes you actually give a shit about him, more than the other brokers, more than the company itself. And that, my friend, is the jackpot. Because now, in his head, buying from anyone else feels like betrayal. You've branded yourself into his conscience. You've made yourself his guy. So the new definition of sales isn't pushing some property or stock on a stranger. It's this. Making someone trust you enough to hand you their money. That's the real close. So there it is, the blueprint, the goddamn playbook of ultimate sales tactics. What the fuck are you waiting for? Get out, close your laptop, go make some calls. Still here? Of course you are. You sick fuck. You want more. Fine. Smash that like button, lock yourself in, let's pour some more sauce on this. You know the saying, if you want to make money, go alone. If you want to make millions, you build a fucking team. And I was a millionaire because I had one of the best teams in history. But it wasn't just a team, it was a cult. A full-blown, drug-snorting, money-chasing, hooker-loving cult. And the real question is, how the hell do you build something like that? Before you can build a team, you gotta drink your own Kool-Aid. You have to believe in the idea so hard, it drips out of your pores. The story has to be bigger than you, larger than life. Because if you don't buy it, if you don't sell yourself on the dream first, how the fuck do you expect anyone else to?
Gentlemen, welcome to Stratton Oakmont, a firm whose roots are so deeply embedded into Wall Street that our very founders sailed over on the Mayflower and chiseled the name Stratton Oakmont right into Plymouth fucking Rock. You got it?
This is the part where everything can go to shit if you don't know what you're doing. You don't just hire bodies. You don't just fill seats. You hire qualities. The more specific, the sharper the blade. When I opened Stratton Oakmont, I wasn't looking for Ivy League diplomas or shiny resumes. Fuck that. Wall Street was already choking on guys with suits and certificates. I wanted two things: young and hungry. Hungry enough to chew through concrete, young enough to survive the bloodbath. So where did I start? My first circle, my friends. Not geniuses, not polished. Hell, half of them were street hustlers selling weed. But that's exactly why I wanted them. They had the hustle mentality baked into their DNA. They were desperate, they needed money, and they'd kill to get it. That's all I needed. Now for the dumb ones. A panacea is that fantasy pill that cures everything. So what do I mean by preaching a panacea? This is where shit gets dark. People are helplessly impatient. They've got poverty, addictions, ugly bodies, fucked up lives, and they don't want to fix any of it the hard way. No discipline, no slow grind, no rehab, no gym, no start a business bullshit. They want the miracle. And what do we sell them? A fucking panacea. My panacea was simple. The solution to all their problems was to get rich.
So you listen to me and you listen well. Are you behind on your credit card bills? Good, pick up the phone and start dialing. Is your landlord ready to evict you? Good, pick up the phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a fucking worthless loser? Good, pick up the phone and start dialing. I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich.
Now, sound smart? Kinda. True? Not even close. Richness doesn't cure the rot. It amplifies it. The junkie who smoked cheap cigarettes when he was poor, give him cash and he's doing quaaludes in mansions. Money doesn't fix you. It amplifies whatever piece of shit you already are. But logic isn't in the room when people want a quick fix. So I built the narrative. Getting rich is the cure. And how do you get rich?
Pick up that phone and speak the words that I have taught you. And I will make you richer than the most powerful CEO in the United States of fucking America.
Once that story's out there, the group grows fast. Hand-to-mouth wins. People gossip about how you made them, and recruits flood in. But growth without structure is chaos, so you gotta organize it next. The best way to herd people into a group? Give them something they can't create for themselves. A fucking lifestyle, a routine, an identity, a banner to march under. You don't just hire guys, you give them a tribe to belong to. So what did I do? I branded my crew. I called them Strattonites. And to be a Strattonite, you live by 3 rules. Either the client buys our stock,
Oh, fucking die!
we wear nothing but the sharpest suits from the Stratton tailor, and we throw the wildest goddamn parties on earth. Hookers, drugs, chaos, the works. That's what defined us. That's what made the hungry, stupid kids on the outside desperate to get in. They didn't just want money, they wanted belonging. Basic human psychology. But here's the kicker. If you want a cult, not just a club, there's one last move you gotta make. Here's the truth. Once people belong to one shit, they'll fight like hell to make sure they don't belong to the other shit. That's human nature. So the last step in building a cult is simple. Create clarity by creating an enemy. So that's what I did.
Now, if anyone here thinks I'm superficial or materialistic, go get a job at fucking McDonald's, because that's where you fucking belong.
I drew a line in the sand. On one side, the Strattonites. On the other, the scums. Who were the scums? They were the mediocre ones. The kids flipping burgers at McDonald's. The ones driving shitty old cars, settling for boring lives, marrying ugly wives. The ones with no style, no hunger, no fucking edge. By naming them, I gave my guys something to despise. And once you've built that, they'll close their eyes to anything, any immorality, any excess, just to make sure they don't end up like the enemy. This right here, this is the blueprint. Not just for building a team, but for building a cult. A following that'll bleed for you, kill for you, sell for you without asking a single fucking question. But here's the catch. It comes with a price. Because once you build a monster like that, it doesn't just belong to you. It starts to own you. The lifestyle takes over. It warps your sense of right and wrong. And when that happens, the fall is inevitable. So before you jerk yourself off thinking this is the promised land, let me give you 2 life lessons you actually need. Picture this, $100 million in the bank. A wife who's a duchess and gives wonderful blowjobs. A daughter you love. A life where you never need to work another fucking day. All I had to do was give up Stratton Oakmont. The madness, the parties, the chaos. And in return, I dodged the SEC, the FBI, all of it. I could have vanished to any country on earth and lived free like a king. That's what my old man and Manny were screaming at me. And they were right.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving!
So why didn't I leave? You'd think it was because I loved the company. Sure, I built it, but that wasn't the real reason. The truth is darker. I wasn't just in the lifestyle. I was the lifestyle. It wasn't greed for more money. It was ego. I couldn't separate myself from the monster I created. I believed if you took me out of Wall Street, I'd be nothing. The Wolf of Wall Street without Wall Street? Just another schmuck. So I stayed. And what happened? Same as every illegal empire in history. It all collapsed. I lost everything. The company? Gone. The money? Bled out through lawyers until nothing was left. The FBI? They won. My Duchess? She walked, took my kids because I couldn't bankroll her lifestyle anymore. My house? Sold. My freedom? Ripped away in a prison cell. All because I didn't listen to my father, who saw the future clearer than me. All because I didn't stop when I had the chance. I was a drug addict, plain and simple. It wasn't just a habit. It was part of my fucking identity as the wolf. At first, sure, I told myself it was just to keep me steady in the madness of Wall Street, a little chemical armor against the chaos. But then it crept in, day after day, until it wasn't just a tool, it was who I was. Drugs weren't something I did, they were baked into my routine. Yeah, there were benefits, kept me high, kept me numb, helped me forget the pressure cooker I was in. But the downsides, they were lethal. I almost killed myself behind the wheel, slamming my car into everything in sight, barely making it home alive. And the wake-up call? The moment I almost killed my daughter in the car because I was too fucking high. That was it. I knew I had to stop. So I tried willpower, just sheer force. I won't do it again, and it worked. For a year, until Naomi hit me with the divorce. Pressure cranked up, blood boiling, and boom, I went right back to the pills to take the edge off. But here's the twist. It all ended when I got arrested. Jail saved me. How? Because the environment changed. No Stratton madhouse, no Donnie, no dealers, no cheerleaders egging me on. Just new people, new walls, new air. My body fought it, sure, but once it adapted, the cravings died. I didn't think about drugs anymore, and that's the real cure. Willpower? Overrated as fuck. Changing your environment? That's the only sure way out. Physical, social, whatever triggers it. You cut that, you cut the addiction. That's how I escaped. Now that you've heard from me, it's time you meet the producer and know what he has for you.
Now you've heard what Jordan said. The sales tactics, the dark court psychology, and the brutal life lessons straight from the wolf himself. Here's my take. It's true.
There is no nobility in poverty.
But let's be real. There's no reputation worth keeping in making money illegally either. Today, you've got the internet. 1,000 doors open. You can grind it out and learn on your own. Or if you've got cash, you can pay someone to shortcut the process. But either way, the currency is the same. You pay in time or you pay in money. And here's the kicker. Illegal money, it always comes with the same stress, the same blood, the same sleepless nights. And just like every dirty empire before it, it will crash down. The end is already written. So if you're gonna hustle, for fuck's sake, hustle the right way. You've just heard a millionaire salesman break down success. But what about a psychopath? What the hell can he teach you about survival in a capitalist jungle? Click here and let Louis Blue show you how it's done. I'll see you there.